Sweet. Well, welcome to episode 418. They're starting to rack up, which is pretty exciting. But one of the exciting things for me today, Daz or Darren, is there's 5 people that I've always wanted to have on the podcast. You're in that top 5.
Jeez.
And they're people for me who have had a big influence on me from, I guess, setting standards as an individual, helping me build my business, and also calling me on my shit, which is, at the time, it's tough, but it's also helped me build the business that I've built today. And I've had Troy on. Troy Morgan was a coach from Toowoomba, and he runs Willow's Health and Fitness.
Yep, no, Troy.
You're number 2, and I've...
So Troy's 1 and I'm 2.
Oh, not in order. There's no favourites here. It's just availability. Let's go with availability. So for me, this is, I guess for everyone listening, this is an exciting conversation to have, because obviously I get the pleasure to talk to you all the time. And I do believe it's important to have coaches and mentors, people who are in your sphere of influence, who really do genuinely give a shit about you and the direction of, I guess, where you're going in life. And you always help me with business and never ask for anything in return, which is cool. So
not yet, long.
Yeah. It's like, all right, here we go. But for me, I'm so excited for this, because the value that you've given me as an individual, I'm sure we'll extract some of that today. But
well, thank you, mate. That's a nice introduction, and you've put pressure on me. I don't generally like going on podcasts and things, so. Yeah, you put the pressure right on me.
Oh, mate, you've got a big message to share, though. I think, you founded Function Well Australia, and you've obviously got your whole family involved in that, and it's such an incredible team, and also that's expanded to a huge community, and the goal is global domination.
Yeah.
But you've got an incredible philosophy around that, and the philosophy being mindset, nutrition, restoration, and movement. How did that become your philosophy?
So obviously been doing the fitness and now what is wellness a long time. So started as a PT at Fitness First, then started a little studio, then without boring you with the full journey, but then went into manage a PT team, which is Bodywise, which is coincidentally the gym we now own.
Yep. Then
left and opened up a little studio again, then opened up the first Function Well. So the first Function Well in 2009, we opened with a mission to be just really about results.
Yep.
So, and at that time, we always had a more holistic philosophy, and definitely based on the Chinese philosophy of yin and yang.
Yep.
So in ancient Chinese philosophy, yin is the oil, yang is the fire. So you can think of the yang as the high intensity and the motivation to get things done in life. But in order to have that, and relating that to training, obviously high intensity training, but in order to have that, you need to replenish it with the yin, which is the oil. Yep. So happy, sad, up, down, inside, outside, hot, cold. You can't have one without the other.
Yep.
To appreciate it. So definitely, had that yin and yang sort of philosophy, but we couldn't really deliver on the yin. Tash and I were really bootstrapping the business, and have done for a long time. And but we had a great team of coaches, but we were definitely focusing. This is back in 2009 on all the factors outside the workout, like sleep, key supplementation, lifestyle stresses, and those
Yep.
lifestyle factors. And it wasn't until I suppose 2015 where with the space we're in now, we could open what is the restoration zone.
Yeah.
And at the time when we opened that, the restoration zone wasn't, I suppose, didn't get a huge uptake because people weren't educated on the benefits of the hot cold therapy and these different human optimization techniques. Now definitely post-COVID, people are recognizing, obviously there's more education out there on the different benefits that these protocols can have, and it's more accessible now, and a lot more facilities and different sort of businesses are really going down this wellness path, which is a great thing because people need it. But I suppose what supports or underlies the yin and yang philosophy is our 4 pillars, which is mindset. So we believe that mindset is the most important thing to get right in all aspects of life, but it can positively or negatively impact your psychology, which we know, but definitely your physiology as well. So definitely mindset. Then we look at nutrition, which is the foundation of any good fitness program and the gateway to optimal health. So nutrition's key. Then we look at movement. So movement is in our DNA. We can't escape that. You know, obviously we've evolved as a species, but our requirement to move is still in our DNA. So without it, all sorts of mental and physical health and diseases can proliferate and become present. So the movement and then the restoration, you know, taking time out to regenerate and restore balance is fundamental, particularly in today's, you know, busy world where we're constantly engaged through the different technologies, and it's so important to be able to unplug and regenerate and restore balance. So yeah, there are 4 pillars.
Important 4 pillars, and legitimately the amount of people that go, I can't believe functional is this. Like, it's so affordable for the value that you get in it, and now we are in a time where a lot more people are educated around all of those benefits. It's really incredible. For yourself, obviously you came from the rugby background as well, played high level rugby league captain side, so you've always had great leadership qualities and drive and ambition. Coming from that background though, it is quite unique to see people interested in, I guess, the restorative protocols, because I know coming through for myself, it was more like that's for the yogis and all of that sort of stuff. And even nutrition to a degree was like, it's all right, we'll have a few beers after game. What got you interested in all of that sort of stuff back in 2009 or even earlier?
Yeah, so it was through my own experiences. I was definitely, training very hard. Obviously started the business and was well and truly digging a deep hole for myself, and not getting the sleep. And my mentality was, to train harder. Sorry, Locke.
You're right.
Should have silenced the phone.
You're good.
Inexperienced with these podcasts.
This has been bugging me the whole time. I didn't oh no, you already snapped it. That's all good. I thought it was still stuck together, your drink bottle.
No, I've already had a sip.
Yeah, all good.
My sort of mindset was, I just need to train harder and go harder, and just really burnt the candle at both ends, and got to a point where, as Mucky will tell you, when we had our little studio which would look down the street, I'd be walking to work and would just vomit. I'd get home and I'd sit on the couch and I'd just crash, and it's
supposed to be this picture of health,
I was eating, quote unquote healthy, for whatever reason, but all obviously wasn't getting the sleep. I was having foods that I wanted to obviously way heavier, so was eating a lot of dairy, a lot of gluten, and after then, let me go back a step. So then went to the doctor and wasn't really getting any answers, and then was fortunate just at a fitness conference, got speaking to a couple of naturopaths who invented this product called Vital Greens, and then got put on the path of starting to do some functional diagnostic testing, so my blood work and food allergy testing and different things. So had a really compromised immune system, was really intolerant of dairy and gluten, so I'm having lots of whey and drinking probably a litre of milk a day.
Shit.
And because I wanted to put weight on, but I was highly stressed, so I wasn't being able to put weight on. And so through all that experience, I went down the rabbit hole of more holistic health, and from what was chronic fatigue, come out the other side, then started traveling the world to learn from the very best in the world on all aspects of fitness and wellness, which is then, from 2009 onwards, really formed the functional sort of philosophy. So that's sort of how I got down that path, and then through that experience, then started to, fortunate to help a lot of clients change their lives, and then, play a role in educating our team, then a ripple effect to create what is now Function Well. So, so that's the sort of how I really got into it, from my own experience, really, and turning my own sort of life around through what was a really, really terrible time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'm sure there's definitely a lot of people listening to this now who are ambitious and driven, and they're only, like I see it all the time, and that's why I love the functional wealth philosophy, and it's a really big part of the Man That Can project, is because every pillar essentially leans on the other one, and if one's out, it's compromising. If you've overweight and aching and not feeling healthy, it ruins your, like it does impact your mindset, which then can impact your relationships or how you run your business. So to be able to go through that, and then for me, the way I look at it is you need to earn the right to have a successful business. You need to earn the right to train well, or all of that. And that comes through looking at restoration, looking at your nutrition. And if you aren't comfortable with those pillars, start learning. Like you said, you invested in yourself to fly all around the world, which would have cost you, I would imagine, hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn, not just to sit back and go, oh, I don't feel good. That's it.
Yeah, so I mean, definitely, got my health in order, which intrigued my interest, but I always had a burning, I suppose, passion and desire to innovate the way fitness is done and be a leader, you know, and what we aspire to, as you know, as a team, is to be the most respected experts in our area, and do that through education, inspiration, and adding value to our members. So the education is the big one, because the more you understand, or clients and members can understand why we do certain things, or why they would want to prescribe to our different prescriptions, they're more likely to implement it because they understand the why. So, that definitely was my driving force. To travel was then to, essentially improve the functional well offering. And, so it's been a journey, and that's where, the functional well philosophy come from, and continues to evolve. And we pride ourselves on being the innovators. You know, we opened up the first function well. There was only the big Globo gyms, Fitness First, Good Life. There was no CrossFit in the market. There was no boutiques. It was PT studios, outdoor boot camps, and we opened this results-based gym doing these classes called Metcon, which no one had really heard of. So, now we can see Metcon and hit just, back then it was just Les Mills and spin. And so then from there we've evolved and bring in the restorative component of the ice bars and different things, and now that's becoming more mainstream. So, it's a real desire to innovate, and that all comes from just ultimately what it's about is providing the very best environment that we believe is going to help people live a better life through fitness and wellness.
Why don't you settle though? Because you have created this yourself and Tash, and have created this incredible machine and beast and environment that just literally spits out results for people. They come, they feel a part of a community. Their consistency improves, and it would be so easy. And I've seen it happen many times, and I'm sure you have as well, where people go, cool, life's good, business is good, I'm checking out. But you don't stop. And one thing that really inspired me about you and your leadership was when COVID happened. I remember 2 days before, you were sort of walking down the hall, and Munro was telling me about COVID. I wasn't really aware of it. And he asked you, and you're like, no, it's not going to happen. Like something. And then 2 days later, we're in the group fitness room and the gym's shutting down. Literally, obviously, we had to shut the gym down. It wasn't good, but you left your shit at the door. Like you didn't, for what I saw, like the leadership was strong, and I'm sure it would have been the most heartbreaking thing of all time. But then you're also like, here's the plan. Like, here's the plan. I'm going to confirm it this afternoon. We're going to have equipment available. We still want people to hit their goals. And you did that at no cost to us, which for me was like, this guy doesn't give a shit about money. Like, obviously you need money, but for me, it was like insane. So come back to the point, like what drives you? Why don't you stop?
Probably a few answers to that question. Like, I appreciate that. It's bringing back some PTSD. COVID.
Fucking COVID.
But no, obviously, I suppose to touch on the COVID point, that really does mean a lot. And look, definitely I can't take all the credit. It was our whole team really band together, and we stayed predominantly unified through what was a really challenging sort of period. But I suppose this is probably an answer to is, part of what drives me is, definitely want, I've got ambitious goals for my own personal purpose and what is for my family and whatever else. But, once as your team grows, something that you do have over your head is that you've got to make sure the business is successful for your team because that's their livelihoods as well. So as we get bigger, that stress probably wanes on me more now, and I'm more mindful of it, especially as we get bigger. So now you have team members that are married and have kids and have their own families. So that definitely drives me. And I where I got the most satisfaction was seeing people achieve incredible results. To come in sorts of pain, whether it's physically, emotionally, and then to turn their life around, which is using fitness as the platform, the gateway to do that, and live a better life from a result of what we've done at Function Well. There's not too many careers or jobs that will give you that sort of satisfaction. So, but now what I really enjoy is seeing I'll never get sick of that, but also seeing the growth of our team. To see someone that might start on, on our community team and be the hub manager, looking at Taylor and her growth and development and, what she's done. But, it's probably cliche, but it is a true passion. I really love this industry. I couldn't think of any other industry, and I don't know if I'd, be successful in any other industry because I wouldn't have the passion that I have. And so that drives me. But onto the COVID. Back to that, if you wanted to touch on that. I think one of your questions was around leadership or. For that it was going back, it was pretty dire because we were I think we were the first industry to be shut down.
Which was ridiculous.
So there was no government support. There was nothing available. So you've gone from what we did. One thing we pride ourselves on as a business is always to do the right thing by our members. So immediately we just stopped all direct debits, and then did an opt-in option for our functional on demand and different sort of opportunities to bring in some revenue. But for me, the coaches, like all team members, valued team members. So as you alluded to, we made sure that you guys still have the opportunity to get an income and have access to all the equipment and, try and do the best we can to support your businesses. But, I think I think I use the analogy something along the lines of if you have a body of water, I think this was the message from memory, a body of water, and if you just let it sit there, it'll become stagnant. And you've got to put new water, new energy, and keep the water flowing for it not to become stagnant. So that was, we don't know what the other side will look like or how long it's going to be, but we can't sit in the corner and cry poor ass. We're going to keep putting energy into that water and keep pushing forward. And do what we always have done and provide a support and offering for our members, because our members need us more now than ever. So the team really bought into that and worked really hard to do that on demand and stay connected, stay communicating with our members and stay engaged. And then I think the other message to the team was, at the end of the day, we can, our community can lose money, we can lose money, we can, but that's okay. We can always get that back. You can always earn money if you're willing to work hard and give yourself the best opportunity. That can come back. But one thing you can't get back if you lose it is your health. So we are the most important thing in people's lives right now is the health. And that was true, because if not to go down the COVID rabbit hole, but the healthier people, were better
prepared,
better margin of protection against not just COVID, but the ravages of time and disease in general, right? So that was our position we took as a team, and it was. We come out the other side. Even for me, I remember another memory this was before I worked at Function Well. We were having dinner at
what's the place on James Street, the Italian place? Do you remember? I was sitting next to you and we were just chatting, and I was like, oh, I might apply to work it. And you're like, come on, mate, then let's do it. And I hadn't, just met Amy at that point. And I think I, was working with you guys 12 months later. But up until that point, for me, personal training and fitness and coaching in general was for what I believe people who couldn't get real jobs.
Yeah, yeah.
And because health for me, I'd struggled with mental health, but not necessarily physical health. I'd always been athletic and energized and stuff. So I didn't understand just how important it was. And I really didn't understand just how uneducated a lot of people are around simple nutrition, movement, sleep, all of these things that add so much value. And then getting to see what you ran and how well you ran it, the community that you'd built and the results that people raved about. You've got that wall of fame in the offices where it's just like people's thank you notes. It's awesome. I call it the wall of fame. I think it's awesome.
Purpose wall.
I love the wall of fame. I'm going to build one day. But for me, and that's when I started, you read that, you hear the stories, and you're like, coaches, like fitness coaches, health coaches, naturopaths, anyone in the health space are legitimately, and even paramedics, nurses are some of the most, if not the most important people that people need to lean on to build their mental and physical well-being, which enables them to have a better quality of life. And that was just from watching you, inspired me to be like, all right, I want to get back into the fitness industry, not as like a stepping stone to something else, but because I want to be the best at it, inspire other people to educate themselves and just be able to have a better quality of life. And touching on what you were just saying there, like it really does provide this extra barrier against metabolic health diseases and so many other things. Longevity, even, I think about so many people. I thought once we hit 30, it's like the beer belly and life's done. And now you see 70-year-olds who are still extremely athletic, living a great quality of life. And for me, that excites me because, I've got another 60 years to go that, until that happens. And by maintaining, doing these daily deposits of rocking up at the gym, practicing the restoration protocols, moderating a relatively healthy diet, I still enjoy a beer and everything, but like that enables me to have a greater quality of life. And it also prepares me for when I do get sick to bounce back quicker, but it also helps me with my mental well-being. And for you, like, firstly, is there anything else you would add to why you feel prioritizing your physical health is extremely important?
It's as simple as this. The more fit one is, the less sick he or she is. That's it. And, obviously you can talk about that all day, but, and this comes back to our, and what I mean by that is if you look at the biomarkers of an athlete, body fat, bone mineral density, triglycerides, blood pressure, against someone who's obese, the athletes, obviously biomarkers are going to be considerably better. So, that's where we focus on fitness and performance and overall health as opposed to, body composition. Because if you look after yourself for performance, whether that's an athletic performance or just to perform at your best in life, then the body composition takes care of itself. So I know you like the shirt off and beach weights
giving the people what they want.
But physical health, like I alluded to earlier, you wind back the clock to our caveman days. We were designed to move. Without it, all sorts of mental and physical, emotional problems become present. We're designed to, hunt, kill, heavy mammoths, drag them home for the kill, build shelters. There's a strength and physical activity sort of component. And like I said, our DNA remains the same. Without it, our mental and physical health becomes compromised. So, physical health is paramount, but you look at, obviously, the hormonal benefits, decrease in the stress hormones like cortisol, your then obviously the neurotransmitters, the brain chemistry component. You've got your endorphins, so your feel good hormones, your your natural painkillers of the body. It all come from physical activity, and it's the best drug in the world. Because we're designed to do it. And so physical health is important, and for me, because it's just part of my life. If I don't train, then I don't feel right.
Yep.
You know, and so physical health
It's the key.
is key.
Yeah, and it definitely correlates into or transfers across into the mental fitness as well. And in today's society, and there's so much research now coming out about it. I use mental fitness because we're in fitness.
Yep.
But let's say mental well-being, depression, anxiety, even focus and distraction and purpose, all of this stuff is the same thing. If you work on flexing that, much like you mentioned with physical health, if you move your body and stress it to a degree, you're only going to grow and put a preventative barrier against when disease does, if it does show up in your life. The same with mental health. I truly believe that so many people's well-being is terrible because of our lifestyle, and there's a lot of research saying environmental factors around the people we spend time with, not getting outdoors, movement, food are all reasons why people's well-being's off. Our phones, iPads is just distracting us from our purpose. Like no one, especially blokes, we can't make decisions. We're really worried about the consequences of our decisions, but a lot of that comes back to the fact we aren't really clear on what we want from our life. You've got a very big life mission and purpose, which helped you go, righto, COVID's here, or you've had a ton of curveballs thrown your way, yourself and Tash over the last couple of years, but you just keep fucking trudging forward because you know where you want to go. And for me, I really believe fitness, getting in the gym with your mates, pumping some iron, smacking a solid workout, you learn about perseverance, you learn about dealing with the mental thoughts that come your way where it's like, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, and you can overcome that, build your confidence as an individual. But it also then goes, okay, that same process, I can put that into finding life purpose, I can put that into dealing with my own mental well-being. And obviously there's always different cases, but most people, the amount of blokes that we've helped in the academy, just by helping them find purpose and understand what's important to them and give them some structure, it's changing their lives. So my question after that is for you, why is it important to build mental fitness? Is there anything you would add?
So I think, obviously, the education and awareness around mental health is getting better and helping people understand it, not just for themselves, but people, to help people suffering with mental health issues can have the tools to support them.
Yep.
But the mental fitness is, a big component. A big component is you've got to have goals.
Yep.
You've got to have something to strive for, and then you've got to provide feedback that you're improving. So test and remeasure, and Daniel Pink's best-selling book, Drive, on motivation. Drive is the key point is provide feedback you're improving, right? So definitely goals, and it's, once you tick off a goal, it's a dopamine hit. So you want to tick off another one. And but the big thing is, for me, is what you tell yourself is what you'll experience, right? So if you're going about something solo, let's just use fitness. Goal to lose 10 kilos, improve your health, whatever. If you tell yourself every day, I'm never going to get into that size 12, I'm never going to be fit enough to be able to, do a class or do a class. I'm never going to be fit enough to join a gym. I'm never going to be like you, Locke, because, you're lucky. Well, then that's what you'll experience. But every day I'm going to get a little bit fitter. Every day I'm going to do one more rep. Every day I'm going to run a little bit further. Every day I'm going to eat cleaner. Then that's what will happen, right? So definitely the story you tell yourself, but going back to your rant, what sprung to mind there is the power of function. Well, the power of the man that can is obviously you're putting a platform or a community together, and you could be seen as, which you are, the face of it. But the real power comes from the social connection and the support, which is paramount for overall well-being. And I think, what you've done with the man that can and where the power comes from is creating that environment to provide social support, connection, and an environment where they all feel safe talk about the troubles that they're having and challenges that we all have at different times.
Yep.
But, function well, what you're doing is a place to enhance your life. Enhance your health.
Yep.
And enhance your social life, which is all part of well-being. So getting that environment's really important for your mental health. So surrounding yourself with the right people, and that's a big piece of your mindset.
Yeah. Could you elaborate more on like the importance of environment? Like when, I guess, once again, when you started realizing just how important the people, because the way I look at it is, and this is from Jim Rohn, talks about when you look at your environment, you've got people that you need to disassociate from, completely cut them out of your life because they don't add any value, you feel worse. You've got people you need to distance yourself from because, maybe lifelong friends, they're awesome to hang around, but too much time around them doesn't add, influences who you want to become. And then there's people you want to enhance your time around. And I learned that probably when I first met you and a couple of guys at the gym. But for you, when did you sort of start realizing that was an important factor?
I'm fortunate that I've got different circles in my life, that all bring value. I've got my good mates that I played footy with at Wynnum, which are, bring incredible value to my life. I've got, obviously, my good mates from Toowoomba, who bring incredible value.
T-Bar boys,
yeah,
plenty of value up there.
That are lifelong friends, that understand you and your journey and what you've been through that, you'll never replace. And then I've got, our Brisbane circle. They all bring different value, and you need those at different times. But, there's people as you go through life that will naturally, drift in different ways, right? And you stay connected to the ones that are providing meaning to your life, and you want to both put the effort in to maintain a friendship. But from I suppose we'll talk from a cultural perspective. At Function Well is, Jim Collins' book. I think it's Good to Great. He talks about get the right people on the bus in the right seats, and the right seats. So it's get the right people on the bus first and foremost, but make sure they're in the right seat. And that is, leadership is about, the big thing is managing people, which you manage the people right, you manage the culture. And so that's a big one where, along the way, we haven't got the right people on the bus and the right seats, which impacts your culture and whatever else. But all in all, we've got that pretty much right the majority of the time. And what we talk about is feed the positive dog. If you feed the negative dog, it's going to get big and strong and beat the shit out of the positive dog. So it's, again, creating that environment and culture. But I don't know if I answered your question.
No, you definitely answered.
It's, from a team perspective and, people that bring you down and whinges and negative and, poor me, victim mentality. They're never really going to be part of my inner sort of sanctum or really have the ability to, I'm not going to put the effort in to have a relationship. It's different when a client, because people are in a bad headspace and, you've got to help them come out of that and give them the tools and whatever else. But from a social setting. And your social setting, I'm very fortunate, blessed to have, different circles of really good people.
And that's obviously come through awareness and, as you said, not tolerating that victim mindset and certain things like that. And it definitely is game changing. I used to hang around a lot. As you said, you got these pots of friends. My Toowoomba mates are fucking awesome and add so much value in my life. I did go through this phase where I had I call it like a personal development ego, where I was learning a lot and growing a lot, and I thought I was better than everyone. And I was like, I can't even hang out with them. And then I realized pretty quickly that I was lonely, and I was then lacking a lot of things that they gave me. So I had to backpedal on that, which was a good learning experience. And I think that's... and
it shows the quality of them as people to probably allow you back into the circle and tell you, maybe how, I don't know the background there, but, they're probably your true mates to tell you, tell you what you didn't want to hear, and so.
You met most of the boys at the wedding there.
Yeah,
bloody
good guys. Well, a bit loose.
Yeah.
But no.
Fireball, that's for sure. I'd love to talk about, so one of the biggest things that, and we're going back to sort of mental health here, two of the biggest reasons why men take their own lives is financial stress and relationship breakdown. You've been thrown a bucket load of curveballs over the last couple of years, and yourself and Tash just have this relationship that is like the most solid thing I've ever seen. And I would love to know how you've built that, fostered that, because I'm sure it's people think these dream relationships just happen. I'm sure there's a lot of work that's gone into it, but have there been any standout moments that you can remember that have really helped you guys grow together as a couple and as a family?
Oh, geez, Locke, this will be a deep question. Usually a bit of a closed book, so you're doing well to dig here.
Pry this one open.
Yeah, but mate, I'm just very lucky.
Yep.
Very. I think as people, you meet somebody, and we all change, right? We all evolve. We change as we go along our journey of life, and at times, one partner's got to be selfish, one partner's got to be selfless, and it's definitely, I was a selfish one along the way because I was so driven on what I want to achieve with this business called Function Well, and Tash had a good career, and she gave that up to join me on this journey. But I think we've had a similar values system on what is important before marriage, which is definitely our family unit, and why I was so driven is probably as I've gotten a bit older, reflecting on what is my big why, and that's definitely to provide a lifestyle for my kids and a lifestyle where I can be present in their lives, which is when you're in the trenches of building a business and in debt and whatever, the first few years of their life I wasn't present because I was working so much, which but it was always an end goal to get to a point where I can be, which I'm grateful now that still, anyone runs their own business, does big hours, but and I don't know if there's such a thing as balance, but I definitely have the best of what I believe balance to be, and have periods where they're the priority, and and back to Tashi is she was selfless. She and I think where a lot of relationships have troubles along the way is because the values change from where you met as young, early 20s, some teenagers, and throw some businesses, careers, and kids and marriage in there. It's quite easy to see how issues can become present. But Tash and I, she definitely come on board at Function Well. It's our, both a huge value to us, and we both have the same mission and purpose with it. She, like I said, gave up her career to join me on this. But I think with Tash, she is patient. And I can be pretty intense at different times, some may say, but I think we've been through some big hurdles, and I think working with your partner can be hard. Not everyone can do it, right? But I'm very grateful that Tash is involved in the business because she understands the challenges. If she wasn't involved, it would be so much harder for me to, say I'm at work, I can't be home, or whatever it may be. But she really understands the challenges because she's in it as well. So I think that's a really positive of having a business together. But I
think there's a good message in that. I feel from my own experience, there's definitely times when I'm stressed about certain things and I try not to let Amy know about it. So it's almost like, hiding things, but just not wanting to put the stress and pressure on them. And I think at times as well, as a unit, it probably is beneficial for your partner or wife or husband or whatever to know what you're going through and what that experience is like, so they can sort of empathize and have compassion to when you are, a bit snappy or grumpy or whatever it is.
Yep. Definitely. And I think, so that's a big benefit with Tash. And then obviously, different roles in the business, and there's definitely times where I don't want to talk about different things and get snappy and get a bit short. But when you're in the trenches and you're facing real adversity, COVID, more recent floods, which fraudulent account, which we've touched on, to go through those experiences, and for Tash not to have a real understanding of the impact, it would be really hard. But no, I'm grateful. But I think it's been really aligned on what your values are, and you'll have different stages in your life where those values might change a little, but all in all, the main ones, you've got alignment. And I think you can get lucky, and I think I definitely got lucky. I couldn't imagine, just one, obviously, wife, mother, best friend, business partner. Yeah. If there's a lot of hats that if Tash was to decide that she's moving on, it's big shoes to fill. Yeah, bloody oath. But no, I'm confident she's not going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I think there's definitely so much that people can take away, and even just to add to that, I feel because of the lifestyle that you both have lived, prioritizing your physical health, having a clear purpose has helped you through those challenging times. A lot of people look at training and stuff as like a priority, or I'll fit that in around meetings, and it's like, well, if you have poor health and your energy's low or your ability to deal with stress is poor, you're probably going to explode your marriage anyway as a result of not being at peak physical and also mental well-being.
You've saved me there, Locke, because I was scrambling with that answer before, but because
I got you one back from my ramble before.
I'm not, talking about my emotions. I'm not my strong point, and obviously, but no, I think coming back to biggest values, health and family, and so this is the thing that you can have the mindset that if your partner goes to the gym, then that's seen as selfish, right? And then there's a guilt on your partner because you feel guilty that you're going to the gym, for example, or it might be playing around a golf or whatever it may be. But, because that's so important to Tash and I, we know that for each of us to go to the gym is priority, because that's going to enable us to give more in our home life and to be better parents and all the rest of it. There's that alignment. Whereas if you don't have a value alignment on health, then Lachie, Amy does value health. I know that. I see her training harder than you most days.
I know she does, doesn't she?
But as an example, is if Amy was going to the gym all the time and it wasn't important to you, but Amy, you're wasting all your time going to the gym, and I'm at home, and when kids come along, I'm having to do school drop off and pick up and all the rest of it while you're at the gym all the time. Then it creates friction. It creates friction, right? But that's one example, having alignment on your values. But we both in agreement that we know we're better people, and it's so important for us to be better parents and better people in general, that's a priority.
I think what you touched on there is not guilting your partner for that, because I'm so grateful that Amy lets me train and prioritize that, and vice versa, because I know if I'm neglecting it, once again, you said earlier, if you're not exercising, you notice a shift in yourself, and I become the most moody bastard of all time, and I'm still driven, but I just lose my focus and attention, and I become bitter, and almost I get those insecurities back. I used to struggle with a lot of insecurities within the beginning of mine and Amy's relationship, and they start creeping back, and I'm like, okay, well, the thing here is I've neglected my health. I'm not feeling good in who I am as an individual. The other thing you touched on is like, when kids come, one thing is another conversation that we've had is yourself with your beautiful children, and obviously you're an ambitious dude. You're busy as a blue-ass fly. But I remember you said to me one day, every day you sit down with Charlie and Milton and just do whatever they want to do. Even if it's not, the most important thing in your day, you give them that time. How did that come about for you? And what is it sort of, because we spoke about this the other day, I really struggle to switch off. Like if I switch off, I feel like I'm falling behind and stuff like that. And for me, when I think about having a family and all that, I'm like, yeah, but then I can't prioritize this. And obviously it's inevitable, it'll happen one day. So when you mentioned that to me, I now think, okay, well, how is someone like yourself who has a lot of stuff going on, extremely ambitious, how has it been for you to go, look, my kids are the most important thing. Whatever they want to do, not you sort of making them what you want to do. It's you giving them time. How has that come about in that process been for you?
Yeah, so I think, I'd like to say every day, but but it's definitely every week and multiple times per week.
Yep.
I make an effort to be interested and fully present and engaged in whatever it is that they love at that point in time.
Yep.
So, sometimes you can get off the iPad, get off YouTube, get off TikTok, which I'm not happy about. Charlie's.
Hey, remember when that dance thing, when you did the dance, that was
during
the greatest
COVID.
of all time. I might have to post that on Instagram.
Please don't. But being genuinely engaged, and it can only be for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it may be, that you're genuinely invested in whatever it is they want to do, whatever they're loving at the time, which you might not agree on. It might not be, rather than, come on, let's go kick the footy, Milton, which we'll do. And but he might want to sit on YouTube or he might want to play Nintendo, whatever it is. And, just finding what they're into at that point in time. And once I've sort of learnt that, has been one of the most powerful bonding experiences and things that I've learned as a dad, because you can ask, how's your day? Good. What'd you get up to? Not much. And really short answers, right? And but when you actually just be present in whatever they're interested in, their whole body language, everything changes, everything shifts. So that has been a really good learning for myself as a parent, and strengthen our relationship. But definitely everything goes in. At the moment, with everything that's happened at Toombul and a few things in the pipeline, it's I haven't been as present, but I've made sure definitely across the week that I'm. It can be 10 and 15 minute just bite-sized chunks. Just making sure that when the weekend comes, that at least at some time we're going to do something. So it's like juggling balls all the time, but then there's different periods where you'll be more and more present with them, and so.
That's the goal to sort of, and that, going back to what you said earlier, you don't know whether there is this thing called balance, and I don't believe in it. It's just at certain points work may be a priority, like obviously the stuff that you guys are dealing with at the moment, it's like it has to be a priority, and things sort of sit back. But I think as well, one thing you guys do well is communicate well, and your family unit, from what I've seen, is like they're all involved in everything that you do, so it's like they're not looking at you guys not knowing what the hell is going on. It's like they know what's going on, so they understand why you're making the sacrifices to work late, or, and that's why I'm stoked that we're having this conversation now, and when you've got a million other things to be doing. But bringing your family along for the ride is what I believe. And once again, I'm not a parent yet, but the idea that I have of being a parent, I'm like, I want to bring them along for the journey, because when you become an adult, I always saw my parents fight, but I never saw them make up. And I think it
would probably scar you, like.
Mum, if you're watching this, don't tell me. No, but I think it's important for children to understand that shit happens, and this is how you guys deal with it, and this is the communication that you go through. You experience frustration, you experience anger, you experience sadness, because a lot of us young blokes, especially, have grown up not understanding that it's okay to cry or to be feeling any other emotion, because our dads were always just like, fucking toughen up, get on with it, which once again, I think there's also a time and a place for toughen up. And using that example of COVID, when you were sitting at the front of the room, you had really two choices. You could have broken down into tears and everything like that, which once again warranted with everything that was going on. But the route you chose was, I'll think about that later when I'm probably by myself. But for now, the team needs me to step up. And that's what you did. And for me, that's like another key quality of leadership and understanding emotional management, that there's always a time and place for things. And it's about understanding where that time and place is in order to get the outcome that you're looking for.
Yep, no, definitely, Locke. And I think the best leaders have that emotional intelligence, but some emotional connection there.
I've got two last questions. Who has had the biggest impact on the man that you've become?
Oh. I don't know, Locke.
Or is there...
I probably, lots of people that I'm fortunate that have had a positive impact on my life. Definitely one that springs to mind is Greenie, who, he's, as everyone would know, recently passed, but he definitely had a really positive impact on my life in many ways. I was a captain at Wynnum, had a few tough years, and Greenie and I built a strong relationship with. He come in and to change the whole culture, change the standards, and met with me to as soon as he got appointed to, sort of get my views and opinions, and so just a great man that. I'm not saying that because he's recently passed. I would have always said he had a really positive impact on my life. Just work ethic, standards, just the relentless pursuit of excellence. Just the intensity. There's so many, and which I relate to. So many admirable traits that he had for success, and just wanted success, not just for himself but for everybody. And if you were fortunate to gain his respect, he was one hell of a bloke. So definitely Greenie. Second, my mum. I'd say my beautiful mum.
Awesome. Thanks for answering that. The last one. What are some traits or characteristics that you believe are important in being a man?
I don't know if it's about being a man, Locke, but I think it's just about being a good person. I think it's courtesy, manners, respect. That's what I try and instill in Charlie and Milton, is and have from a very young age, is the only three things that I want. Throw work ethic in there, but we haven't had that discussion too much yet. But courtesy, manners, and respect is whenever anyone talks about, even myself, I hope that that they'll associate myself to those traits. But definitely with Milt and Charlie's courtesy, manners, and respect. And I think to be a good man, you've got to definitely have those three traits. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. That was clear and concise. I like it. So for those who live in Brisbane, you got to come down, check out Function Well, and soon to be over the next couple of years, hopefully just continues expanding the mission and the value that you guys are adding to communities. Where can people? You're not too active on socials. I think your Instagram is dbain. There's a number attached to it, like 12.
Just ask Sammy, but no, that's the Instagram. I don't even know the header.
I think there's not even a photo attached to it.
D-Bain, as Sammy will say, D-Bain 1212. But Sammy's one of our coaches who is quite the character. And definitely with Facebook, I had my original Facebook which was associated to Functional, which set up way back when.
Yep.
It got hacked. So then I got locked out of my original Facebook and then spent God knows how long trying to deal with Facebook to get it reactivated.
Yeah, good luck.
And then so I started another Facebook account. But now the amount of people that will say, hey, I sent you a message but I can't get access to that original account. So I just stay off Facebook, which I'm not active on socials as it is, but I'm not active. But email.
Yeah, the old school pigeon. And
Darren@functionwell.com.au or follow our Functional Instagram. There's a lot more valuable content on there than I'll provide.
I'll attach all the links to the Functional. I share a lot of posts from Functional anyway. So
on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah, on LinkedIn. And also, I guess the best way to meet the man himself is come down to the gym.
And want to say, take this opportunity to say congrats to you, mate. You've had quite the journey.
Yep.
I'm not sure on where to put your energy and your time, and which we all suffer from, shiny object syndrome. But you found your true calling, your true passion, and should be really, really proud of the impact you're having on the man that can clients that are working with you, mate. You're a real inspiration. So well done, and excited to see you get global domination.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Bain.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.